Finals. The men's ice hockey team hosted Clarkson in the ECAC Hockey Quarterfinals. And acrobatics and tumbling traveled up to Western New York as they took on Quinnipiac. All some more coming up on Sports Paws starting right now.
Welcome back to Studio 125 for another edition of Sports Paws. I'm Brittney Bronleben.
And I'm Meg Buckley.
News broke earlier today out of Quinnipiac Athletics that women's basketball head coach Tricia Fabbri is retiring after 31 years. Fabbri was the first full-time female head coach at Quinnipiac. In her 31 years, she has had 570 career wins, 5 NCAA Tournament appearances, 9 conference regular season titles, and 5 conference championships. Fabbri also led the Bobcats to a Sweet 16 appearance during the 2016-17 season. Fabbri spoke after the MAC championship, explaining how special her time has been.
It's the reason why you still coach, right? You love being in a room, whether it's a hard locker room or a great locker room. They make me feel alive. They give me great purpose. Their leadership, how they represent themselves, their family, their community impacts me because they make me want to be better because of what they're out sacrificing and doing every day for this program and the university.
Switching to the ice, for the first time, the women's ECAC hockey semifinals and championship games were held at Herb Brooks Arena in Lake Placid, and for the first time since the 2015-16 season, the Bobcats have taken home the hardware. Quinnipiac won 2-1 in overtime against Princeton for the semifinals, with Avery Barrow scoring the game-winning goal, and then the team came out on top against Yale 5-1 to win the conference title in the Battle of Whitney Ave. Felicia Frank recorded her 28th win of the season and 35th of her career, continuing to lead the nation. Head coach Cass Turner then had this to say about the team.
What they're doing in their careers, and it's all because you put yourself in an environment that's as challenging as this, and you gain confidence in things that are hard in your life, and now you move into other parts of your life and you believe you can do it.
Less than a week after winning the championship, the team took a trip out to Wisconsin to take on Franklin Pierce in the NCAA Regionals. It's the NCAA Tournament time in Madison as the Ravens and Bobcats clash for a chance to play number 2 Wisconsin Badgers on Saturday. Not a lot went on in the first, so let's skip to the second. Emerson Jarvis doing it all herself, a double toe drag past 2 defenders and pots at 5-hole, breaking the scoreless tie and puts the Bobcats up 1-0. Quinnipiac still putting pressure on the Ravens. How about the save from Ravens goaltender Jill Hurdle, the nation's leader in save percentage, denying the original shot from Zoe Evans and the background chance from Taylor Bruschi. Back on the offensive, it's Bryn Pryor sliding the puck past 3 Raven defenders to Kayla LaMarche, who tries to double the Cats' lead. Shot is no good, but Pryor deflects it, and just like that, Quinnipiac takes a 2 lead to end the second period. Third and final period, Ravens have to get some offense brewing, but Felicia Frank had other plans on that one. Let's head down the other end. It's Ella Johnson who finds Peyton Cormier right across the crease, and on the breakaway, she will score and pad Quinnipiac's lead. It's 3-0 in the third. The Ravens feel the season slipping away in the late stages, and Laurence Fournette ices it with a lethal shot right in front of the net to rub salt in the wound. The final score in this one is 4-0 in favor of the Bobcats. In the chaos of the win, Felicia Frank also broke Quinnipiac's single-season save record, bringing her total up to 990. Quinnipiac moves on and will play number 2 ranked Wisconsin, looking to secure the program's first Frozen Four appearance ever.
Well, it's like you said, Brittany, it's Quinnipiac in Wisconsin for a trip to State College. The last time these two programs met was 3 years ago. In the first couple of minutes, Lacey Eden finds Kelly Gorbatenko, who fires it past the glove side of Felicia Frank. She kicks off the scoring in this game. And then a bit later on, Wisconsin's going to be on the power play. Caroline Harvey finds her best friend, Layla Edwards, and she sends a beautiful feed over to Kristen Sims, who toe drags and releases the puck into the goal. It's 2-0 Badgers after the first 20 minutes of play. Into the second we go, and the onslaught of goals continues with Adela Shapovalov, who snipes it over Frank into the top corner. Her 14th of the year extends the lead to 3. Quinnipiac didn't have a lot of bright spots in the game, but one did come from this humongous save from Felicia Frank, robbing Lacey Eden backdoor. You can only do so much against Wisconsin, as off the faceoff, it's Gorbatenko again with a shot into the upper 90. Nothing Frank can do about that one. It's 4-0 Badgers as we head into the third. And then a bit later on in the period, Quinnipiac would pull its goalie to get an extra attack here, but a blocked Kalen Lamar's shot and turnover gives Lacey Eden a wide open look at the empty net, and the nation's leading point scorer makes no doubt in this game. The lead is now up to 5, and the crowd is absolutely loving it. But I have a question for those watching at home. What's better than 5 goals, you may ask? And that is 6 goals. Who better in this one to do it than Kelly Gorbatenko? And that's going to be her third of the game, and she reports her second hat trick of the season. Then the hats are just going to start flying down at LeBron. It's 6-0 Badgers, and that would do it in this one. Wisconsin advances to its 4th consecutive Frozen Four as they start to pour onto the ice with a humongous applause from an electric sold-out crowd. They would later on find out they will play Penn State for a chance at the national championship next weekend. It was a valiant effort from the Bobcats, but they would end their season going 29-9-3.
After a successful season, Cass Turner reflected on what the seniors have meant to the team. Anthony Rossi has more on the story.
I will say this is the most fun I've had coaching in my entire career. Like, this was just a really fun year and a really special group.
Though all fun things must come to an end at some point, for the 7 players that are graduating from the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team this season, their lasting legacy will be remembered forever.
Since the second we got to campus back in our freshman year, they took us under their wing and made us feel comfortable. And this group of seniors and leaders that we had, especially this year, was unmatched and definitely will go down as one of the greatest leadership groups I've ever played under. They led us to everything we earned this year. And I'm just super grateful that they got to go out on such a high note on this season that we had.
Throughout the entire 2025-26 season, head coach Cass Turner has praised the graduating class for their leadership on and off the ice with the players. But what most don't see and hear about is something that the 11-year head coach will never forget.
They're just so grateful. Like, I think about early in the year, at Thanksgiving, and they were writing letters to one another, and I got one from one of them, and it was the kindest letter I think I've ever received. And, people like Tessa Hulk, who she goes out of her way to ask me questions about how my life is and what's going on in my life. I have not a lot of players that are like that, they're just a group that cares. And I think that really drove this team forward, just how much they care about one another and care about the coaches.
When players graduate from our program and leave behind their legacies, those that take the reins the year after have big shoes to fill. And the 2 sophomores know exactly what they want the program to look like next season.
I think just replicating the family that they created since we got here, like Michaela said. We've just been taken under their wing in a way that we could look up to them no matter what, and we're definitely going to try and replicate that. Yeah, they made it super fun to come to the rink every day, and I know this was probably the best season of hockey I've ever been a part of, so as much as we can try and replicate that moving forward, that'd be awesome.
Now the players will join the strong class of alumni that Quinnipiac has and be supporting the Bobcats for many years to come. Reporting from LeBron Arena, and for Q30 Sports one final time, I'm Anthony Rossi.
Thanks, Anthony. Switching to the men's side of the ice, multiple Bobcats have been named to all ECAC teams. First-year Ethan Wittenbach leading the nation with 58 points, and sophomore Elliot Kronwald, who leads Quinnipiac in blocks with 45, were named to the All-ECAC first team. Wittenbach was also named to the All-ECAC rookie team, and Antonin Verreau joining him. Verreau is second on the team in points with 38 and is third on the team for power play goals with 5.
Burrell was also named to the All-ECAC second team. Burrell scored 12 goals, and he was an assist on the power play unit, scoring 3 power play goals this season. Junior forward Mason Marcellus was named to the All-ECAC third team. Marcellus scored 5 goals and 14 assists for 19 points in league play. Overall, the alternate captain has netted 8 goals and tallied 24 assists.
While the women's team was away at LeBron Arena, the men's team was home at the bank for the ECAC quarterfinals. It's playoff time in Hamden as the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team takes on the Clarkson Golden Knights For the quarterfinals, less than 5 minutes into the game, Clarkson with a 2-on-1 forming, but Braden Blaze lays out and blocks the pass. This game stays scoreless, but it's the Dylan Silverstein show from here as Remy Jelena breaks in and is robbed by Silverstein. Rebound lands on the goal line, but it is swiped out of the crease by Tyler Borgula. The Bobcats escape the first period with a scoreless game, and in the second, the puck finds its way to Bryce Sucro and takes a bounce to find the back of the net. Clarkson finally breaks through after a first period of complete dominance. Now it's going to be a breakaway opportunity for Connor Hellier. He breaks in, but Charlie Letty gets there, and Silverstein pokes it away. The Bobcats only register 2 shots in the middle frame, but come out just trailing by 1. The Bobcats start the third on a power play that carried over. Mason Marcellus breaks in with Aaron Schwartz, and Schwartz, with the Bobcats' best chance, it's robbed by Ryan Soderwall. And in desperation mode now, Silverstein pulled the shot by Ethan Wittenbach is scooped up by Soderwall to hold his shutout. Clarkson would tack on 2 empty netters and finish the game 3-0. Despite the loss, Silverstein made 32 saves, and Quinnipiac now looks to a must-win Game 2 on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Quinnipiac hosting Clarkson for Game 2 of the ECAC quarterfinals, looking to stay alive. Starting out of the Bobcats looking for their first goal of the series. A backhand pass from Ethan Wittenbach finds Marcus Vidacek, who rips it home, 1-0 Bobcats. We'll move into the second period now. Back and forth start to the period. Clarkson tic-tac-toe, Justin Cotier rips it home, and the Golden Knights have tied the game. Later in the period, Remy Jelena splits the D, but Silverstein robs him with the paddle. What a stop. Now moving to the final period of play. A shot goes off Soderwall and finds Braden Blaze in front as he roofs it. Bobcats retake the lead. Blaze isn't just done yet. This time it's turned over to the stick of Blaze and he snipes it home, giving the Bobcats a 3-1 lead. Now the Bobcats looking to add more on the power play, but Mason Marcellus loses the puck at the blue line. He's going to give the keys to Sean O'Donnell. On the breakaway, he scores in cutting Quinnipiac's lead in half. But just 38 seconds later, still on the kill, Eric Borgholtz throws it into the slot and Matthew Maychik one-touches it past Silverstein, and we are all tied up in Hamden. Clarkson looking to keep the momentum going. They come the other way, Eric Borgholtz with the wrister from the high slot, and it sneaks in. All of a sudden, Clarkson has the lead. Quinnipiac couldn't beat Soderwall in the final 5 minutes. The Bobcats drop Game 2 4-3 to the Clarkson Golden Knights. For the first time since 2019, the Bobcats will now take the trip up to Lake Placid to compete in the ECAC Championship.
And then after the results of the weekend, Q30's Ava Heaton has more about the high emotions following the loss.
It's heartbreak in Hamden as the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team fell in the ECAC Hockey Quarterfinals for the first time since 2019, this time to the Clarkson Golden Knights.
And we just made some immature decisions and lacked details and lacked buy-in, and again, just it's ridiculous. It really is. It's. I don't even want to use the term embarrassing. Ridiculous is a better word.
From Game 1 to Game 2, the Bobcats' play was much stronger, despite the outcome being the same.
We just didn't have any passion. I used the phrase like you can't fake passion. I thought we tried to fake it last night and we couldn't. I thought today we had passion, and we had really good battle, and we basically had the game won. We still have to grind it out, but we're a really good defensive hockey team, or we have been in the past, and I guess we are again this year.
Quinnipiac's youth has been put in high-pressure situations all season long, and in this series, they weren't able to step up to the moment.
We're an immature team. Obviously, we've had a lot of success this year, but we have immature spurts, and we got to put them away.
The Bobcats now await their fate with the NCAA selection show on March 22nd at 3 p.m. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Ava Heaton.
Thanks, Ava. With the number 1 seed Quinnipiac out of the running, the men's ECAC hockey bracket looks a little different. The remaining 4 teams will head to Lake Placid for the semifinals on March 20th as number 2 Dartmouth faces off against number 8 Clarkson, and number 3 Cornell is slotted against the number 4 seed Princeton. The winner of each matchup will then head to the championship on March 21st, where the 2026 men's ECAC hockey champion will be crowned.
After the losses this weekend, let's take a look at the men's ice hockey MPI rankings. Quinnipiac dropped out of the top 10 after losing in the ECAC Hockey Quarterfinals. Fellow ECAC opponents Dartmouth and Cornell are in 8th and 9th. Number 5 ranked Denver and number 6 ranked Minnesota Duluth are playing in the NCHC Championship on Saturday. Michigan State moves down to 3rd after losing to Ohio State in overtime. Michigan remains in 1st for another week. We have to take our first commercial break, but don't go anywhere because when Sports Paws comes back, we'll See who took home all conference honors for the women's basketball team after the Bobcats clinched the #1 seed a couple weeks ago.
Plus, we'll see if the acrobatics and tumbling team can come back from their loss against Oregon when they face off against Canisius. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes. Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Welcome back. Before the start of the men's and women's MAC basketball tournament, members of the women's basketball team were named to all MAC awards. Graduate guard Jackie Grisdale and senior forward Ella O'Donnell were named to the all MAC first team. Grisdale averaged 12.7 points per game and shot 40% from three. O'Donnell averaged 11.4 points per game and 5.5 rebounds per game. First-year guard Ella Ryan was named to the all-rookie team. Ryan started in 28 of the 29 games. Ryan ranks third in the conference in three-point percent shooting at 41.2%.
Anna Foley joined the group as she was named to the All-MAC third team. The junior forward averaged 9.7 points and 5.6 rebounds per game, with Foley also leading the team at blocks at 31. Carson Martin received 2 awards, joining Foley to the All-MAC third team and receiving the MAC 6th Player of the Year award. The junior guard averaged 10 points per game this year and was the first Bobcat since the 2022-23 season to earn the award.
As the 1 seed in the tournament, the Bobcats had a first-round bye and won their quarterfinals matchup against the Manhattan Jaspers 59-43. On Sunday in a semifinals matchup, the Bobcats beat Iona in overtime with the score of 63-62. Carson Martin scored 19 points in the win, setting up a repeat of last year's championship game. Fairfield was able to get the three-peat and win with a score of 51-44. Jillian Herder led the Stags with 17 points in the win. Head coach Tricia Fabbri talked after the game on how she'll always remember this season.
I've done this a lot of years. This has been one of my most fun years that I have had coaching. The reflection of what we were able to do to get back here again, to be that close. We're going to be able to look back on another great year for Quinnipiac women's basketball.
The women's basketball team may have missed the NCAA tournament, but on Selection Sunday, their names were still called for the women's basketball invitational tournament. Winning the regular season, the Bobcats were automatic qualifiers. The Bobcats are taking a trip down south to take on the third-seeded George Mason Patriots. George Mason has a record of 23-9 and lost to Rhode Island in the Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Championship. The game will be Thursday at 7 p.m. Switching to the men's side, some Bobcats won MAC awards. Senior forward Amari Monroe was named to the All-MAC first team and MAC All-Defensive Team. Monroe led the Bobcats in averaging 15.6 points per game, rebounding with an average of 8.2 steals per game, and steal averaging 2.3 steals per game. Monroe had 12 double-doubles on the season. First-year forward Keith McKnight was named to the All-MAC rookie team. McKnight averaged just over 11 points per game and 5.9 rebounds per game, shooting 55% from the floor.
Sophomore Jaden Zimmerman was named to the All-MAC second team and his consecutive year making a conference team. The guard averaged 15.1 points per game and has totaled 65 rebounds. Sim Jones then represented Quinnipiac as he was named to the All-MAC third team. The senior guard leads the team in assists with 126 and shoots 46% from three. The men's basketball team's MAC dreams were cut short after they lost to Marist in a close matchup of 77-75. The Red Foxes led the Bobcats at halftime, and even though Quinnipiac was able to tie the game in the second half multiple times, Marist still came out on top. Grant Randall led the team in points with 28 and totaled 15 rebounds. Amari Monroe added 18 points and 10 rebounds for his 13th double-double of the season. Justin Menard led Marist with 26 points and shot 56% from three. Marist then advanced to the semifinals where they fell to Merrimack in another close matchup of 58-57. Merrimack then lost to Siena in the championship game 64-54, with the Saints now representing the MAC Conference in March Madness. The acrobatics and tumbling team was looking to bounce back after their loss at Oregon. The Bobcats were still on the road as they traveled up to Buffalo, New York to take on the Canisius Golden Griffins. Quinnipiac took the meet with a total of 263.435 points, and despite that score being the lowest so far they have had all season, the Bobcats beat the Golden Griffins in a landslide with a point differential of 56.7 points. The team's next meet is back in Hamden on March 22nd versus LIU.
After opening day for Quinnipiac baseball, Jack Byer was all the information on the start of the season. Take it away, Jack.
Thanks, guys. Quinnipiac baseball played its first MAC series of 2026, going against the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Game 1 would start with a hit by pitch, an error, and a Will Cook single to bring home the first 3 runs in the first for Sacred Heart. It would be 8-0 Pioneers by the middle of the 6th inning. However, Quinnipiac would make a comeback, starting with 2 runs in the bottom half of the inning, 5 runs in the 7th, and then they would tie the game in the 8th. The game would then be suspended due to darkness and restart on Saturday. Sacred Heart's Dave York would hit a solo home run to give the Pioneers the lead. They would close out a 9-8 win.
Graham Willier picked up the win for the Pioneers, while Mike Poncini had the loss for the Bobcats. Peter Link had 4 RBIs on 3 hits for Sacred Heart, and James Marino had 3 hits for Quinnipiac.
Game 2 would also not go the Bobcats' way, as the Pioneers tacked on 5 runs in the 2nd inning.
Cook had an RBI triple and a solo home run for Sacred Heart. Despite giving up 5 earned runs, Quinnipiac starter Sam Wright struck out 5 batters in 5 innings pitched.
Sunday's Game 3 would go the Bobcats' way, as they would jump out to 7 runs in the 1st inning, including Brendan Edverson's grand slam for his first homer as a Bobcat. Quinnipiac starter Andrew Rubio would throw 7 innings, striking out 5 and giving up only 2 runs.
Pioneer starter Anakin Underhill was taken out of the game after only 2/3 of an inning, having given up 6 earned runs. Cole Constable and Matt Park would each drive in 2 runs for the Bobcats.
Next on the docket for the Bobcats are 2 midweek matchups, starting with the Bobcats traveling to CCSU at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, followed by the Bobcats hosting Yale on Wednesday at 2 p.m. After all of that, the Bobcats will travel to Manhattan for their second MAC series of the year. That's all I have from the Quinnipiac baseball field, but when Sports Paws returns, we will have more updates from around spring sports, including softball series against Iona, as well as the top 5 plays of the week. Don't go anywhere, because Sports Paws will be right back.
Hamden to Hollywood.
We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try to teach them. When they learn something new, and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are They're my favorite.
Gracie and Pedro might not get along so well.
They're standing on my tail.
But there's one thing they agree on. There's a right seat for everyone.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Whether you're a dog,
Hold on, Pooch.
a cat, a fish, or a rat.
And I'm a ferret.
Be sure to travel safe.
How can you be so sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
On your next adventure, make sure your children are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Spring is upon us and the softball team has started MAC play. This weekend, the Bobcats took a quick trip to New Rochelle, New York to take on the Iona Gales. On Saturday, the Bobcats split the doubleheader with the Gales. Quinnipiac won the first match 10-2. Mary Fogg was 3 for 4 with a pair of running scoring triples. Shannon Kendall went the distance in Game 1, striking out 5 and sprinkling 7 hits across 6 innings. In the second game, Iona won 10-2. Brianna Fisher hit a 2-run home run to make it a 4-0 ball game early. Melissa Gordon pitched the complete game for the Gales, scattering 3 hits and a pair of walks. Iona had 11 hits for the game, with 5 batters recording multiple hits.
And then the final game of the series was on Sunday, and Quinnipiac came out on top against Iona 7-2 for their second conference win. Sofia Vega went 3 for 3, and Natalia Apatiga was also hot as she went 2 for 3 with an RBI, and 3 different Bobcats recorded multi-hit games in the win.
Switching from the diamond to the turf, women's lacrosse played at Gardner-Webb on Friday. The Bobcats won with a score of 14-9. Mia Delmont led the Bobcats offensively with a 4-goal performance, and Kate Pendowski had another 4-point performance by adding a goal and 3 assists. Charlotte DeMeo recorded her first collegiate multi-goal game, scoring 2 goals.
Quinnipiac then extended their win streak to 3 as they won against Furman. It was not an easy game as the Bobcats came back from a 6-goal deficit, scoring 12 of the last 16 goals of the game late in the second quarter. The Paladins' Reynolds Hester would score unassisted with less than 6 minutes left of play, but it was too late. The Bobcats tacked on another goal and ended their road trip with 2 wins. Continuing with women's lacrosse, Attack Brie Provenzano was named MAC Rookie for the second week in a row. The first year had 7 points this weekend, bumping her totals up to 10 goals and is ranked second on the team in assists, sitting at 9, and is sitting 7th in the MAC for assists per game. The first year is second on the team in points and has also started in 5 of the last 5 games.
Switching locker rooms, the men's lacrosse team took a trip to Buffalo to take on Canisius on Saturday. The Bobcats lost in overtime 9-8. Cole Marcella led the team with 3 goals and 1 assist. Nate Watson added 2 goals in the loss. Dawson Wade scored the game winner for the Golden Griffins in overtime to give the home team the victory. Sophomore midfielder Carson Christie notched his first hat trick of the season for the Golden Griffins.
In the spirit of spring break, the women's tennis team was down in Orlando, Florida, and they ended up sweeping St. Thomas and Marquette to start their tournament. Willow Renton and Caitlin Flower picked up both doubles wins, with Renton, Flower, and Ella Lewis each earning 2 singles wins for the Bobcats. Isabella Baker recorded her 4th singles win of the season, and Emily Meng and Anaga Shankar picked up their 4th doubles wins of the season as well. Quinnipiac won both matches 6-1 against St. Thomas and Marquette as the tournament continued later in the week.
In the rest of the tournament, the Bobcats won 1 and lost 1. In their first match, they lost to UNC Asheville 4-1. Caitlin Flower recorded the lone win against UNC Asheville. In the second match, the Bobcats won 4-2. The team of Caroline Scholzen and Vera Avrenier and Agna Shankar and Emily Meng won their respective double matches to earn the points against Western Carolina. Willow Renton, Emily Meng, and Ella Lewis each earned single wins for the Bobcats. Quinnipiac also took down Seton Hall in their other matchups during this week 5-2 over the Pirates.
And now, Brittney, with St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, I sure would love to find a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
Well, Meg, you're in luck. I found the end of a rainbow, but there wasn't any gold. Just the top 5 plays of the week.
Well, let's see them.
Starting with play number 5, on the field, Ethan McGerald with a quick pass to Justin Robert, who snipes it as the Bobcats claw their way back to make it 4-6.
Play 4 on the ice, Kirsten Sims finds Lacey Eden, and Wisconsin has a chance out front, but so Felicia Frank says no. Take another look as she stretches all the way to block the shot. Bobcats lose 6-0.
And back on the field for play 3, McGerald with a tough feed to Cole Marcella, who shakes up the defense and posted for the hat trick. Quinnipiac would fall to Canisius 9-8 in overtime.
Playing 2 on the court in Atlantic City, Iona's Isabel Middleton drives to the basket, but Anna Foley gets up for the block in overtime. That block helps seal the win, and the Bobcats would advance to the conference championship.
Play number 1, as seen on Sports Center's Top 10. Emerson Jarvis toe drags 2 defenders and buries the fivefold on the backhand. The Bobcats beat Franklin Pierce 4-0 and advance to the quarterfinals to play Wisconsin. Well, Meg, that's all we have of this edition of Sports Paws.
Unfortunately so, Brittany, but make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and check us out on our website at Q30TV.com. As always, thank you to the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. For Brittney, Bronleben, I'm Meg Buckley. Have a great night, Bobcats.